tutorial where we make social studies simple and easy for you on this platform or this channel. First of all, thank you for subscribing and liking this video, and I believe that you have also shared to other friends out there to also learn a lot on this channel. I hopefully believe that you are going to enjoy this lesson. One of the things that is very crucial to our life is the stages that we pass through when we are maturing or getting to adult stage, or what we call the legal adult stage or the old age stage. Now, around this time, we are incapable of doing or taking decisions that we had to take. So it means that the crucial part of our life is when we are moving from childhood to adulthood. Why is this so important? As a student watching me, or perhaps if you're a parent or someone else who has passed this age, I know that there are certain things that you have decided to do and you have not been able to achieve them, and you regret or say that you couldn't achieve them because of the decisions you took in the past. Now, in life's journey, we have interesting things that come up, and we have to make our decisions or our choices right. We have what we call the childhood, and then we have in between the childhood and the adulthood. Today, we are going to talk about what happens between the childhood and the adulthood. Why is this so important? Because this stage is the most crucial of every man or woman's life. As JHS students, most of you find yourself between the ages of 10 and 19. Yes, I used to. Now, this age is a very important or crucial age, like I've said already, that we need to pay attention to. Parents who are also watching should also pay attention to their children who fall within this stage. When you were very young or as a child, below the ages of 10, there were a lot of things that you did and you could be pardoned for such things. And things that you do and you have to be corrected. But when you get to this stage, there are certain things that parents expect you to know as a child. That is why we have to look at it. Now, this stage is called the adolescent stage. The adolescent stage. So my topic for you today is adolescent reproductive health. Adolescent reproductive health. Follow me closely as we delve into this topic. I know it's the favorite of most of the children or JHS students out there, and it's taught also in science, where you learn about the reproductive organ, how to take care of your body, and how to live a profitable life, a good life, so that you can enjoy your future. Okay, well, we'll look at the meaning of certain key terms as it is usually done in social studies. So you are going to prepare for your exam, and you have to take note of certain keywords that are used under this topic. So adolescent reproductive health. Now we are going to look at terms like these three keywords are going to be used often in our discussion. So you have to know what they mean. So anytime you use them, you know what we are trying to talk about. So the adolescence, the one that ends with ENCE, we have the one that ends with SCENT. So these two, well, actually are talking about one key thing, but we have to look at how they are being used. So this is actually referring to the person, but this is actually referring to the stage. The stage. So where did this word come from? So this word is actually taken from, or it originates from, a Latin word. If someone, a man or a male in Spain, you say adolescent. So that is written as so this is actually the root word. So it comes from this word, and in Latin it means to grow, to grow. So this adolescence word we have in English from the word adolescere, meaning to grow, is what we are going to define right now. So look at the definition quickly. Alright, so when we say adolescent stage, adolescence, what is this? So the transition stage in between childhood and adulthood, from childhood to adulthood, is what we call adolescence. So it's actually a stage, or the stage can be replaced with period. So that is the period. Now, a lot of people have passed through this stage, and we still have a lot of children who fall within this stage. So that is why it has been put in the syllabus for you to be taught. Then you can know who you are, and then what you have to do when you find yourself in this stage, okay, to actually become a responsible adult in future. Alright, so we have the meaning for adolescent, okay, so you can add that. So this mostly begins from age 10 to 19. We are going by the WHO's organization, the WHO's definition. Sorry. So the WHO, the World Health Organization, they have come out with this, and we are going by that. Other school of thought, people have also come out with the age. People say between 12 and 20. Others too have different age groups, but we are sticking to this. So you have to also stick to this. So mostly people will find around this. So these people are the ones we call the adolescents. So we have succeeded in explaining adolescence. Now, who is the adolescent? Who is the adolescent? So the adolescent is a person person found between the ages of 10 and 19. According to the World Health Organization. So according to the World Health Organization, we are going by this period or this age group or interval. So from 10 to 19, between 10 and 19, we have any person that falls within this range is an adolescent. Okay, so I believe you have gotten this. Now, during this stage, there are a lot of things that occur. So we will talk about the early adolescent stage. So with the early adolescent stage, okay. So let's have a breakdown. So with a breakdown, we have the adolescent, from 10 to 19, stage or period, ten to 14, we call that the early adolescent stage. So you can have the early adolescent stage. Then from 15 to 19, we can have the late adolescent stage. Alright, so this is good for your knowledge now, your level. So you have to know the early stage and the late stage. So all of these people put together will be called adolescents. Now a lot of changes take place during this period. The individual has to, or the person who is adolescent has to go through a lot of developmental changes. So you find them going through certain biological changes or physical changes, and so on and so forth. We are going to look at them. So I'm going to put the developmental changes into 5 main categories. So we see what they entail. Okay, so we look at developmental changes. Or let me also call it categories. Okay, so we'll have 1. Every adolescent will have to go through a physical changes. We'll talk about that. Then 2. mental or psychological changes. 3. I will call that social changes. Then one also very important, we have the emotional changes. I'll put a 5th one here, which I'll call moral changes. These 5 categories, every individual, every adolescent will have to go through this stage. After childhood, you pass through this and you are going to experience a lot of developmental changes. So we look at this area, and that is where we actually need the reproductive health. We need this topic, we need to study it carefully. So our parents out there should also know all these changes and be able to provide for their children. In provision, we are talking about you making sure that you address the problems that you face here, the problems that you face under mental and psychological changes when they are undergoing these mental or psychological changes. If they encounter any problem, they have to be attended to, or they have to be solved, or help. They need help, because this stage, if care is not taken and they are not handled properly or carefully, any of them can affect their health. Any lapses in them can affect their health. So that is their health. That is why we need to pay attention to all of them. But it looks like people tend to pay attention to only the physical changes. No, we have 4 other changes. You don't pay attention to only the moral changes. Okay, now so for you, if let's get into them. We'll focus more on the physical changes. We'll get into them the more, and then we'll see what will actually happen here. Alright. Now we'll talk about the physical changes. So let me begin with this. Since I will dwell more on the physical changes, I will begin from this side. So the moral changes. We expect that at this stage, the child has moved from childhood and has gotten to a certain stage. Parents are expecting these children to behave well, to know what is good and bad. And knowing what is good and bad can be placed under moral changes. So you pick, for instance, a remote and then you drop it anyhow. As a child, below 5 years, below 10 years, they may just hit your arm or spank you in a way or try to scold at you. You begin to cry, and later they'll come to you and just pamper you, tell you to keep quiet, and you be giving something, even just to keep you mute. Alright. So, but when you enter this stage, parents expect that, okay, you shouldn't drop the remote as you did, and then therefore you need to be punished for that. So when children are being taught to even speak the truth, they are telling lies, speak the truth, they caution them. So it comes to, it all boils down to what? The moral, knowing what is good and knowing what is bad, knowing the right things to do in the society, in the school, in the house, then accepting certain religious doctrines and all these things will fall under moral changes. So I'll simply say that under the moral, talk about knowing what is good and bad, and they are directed to follow the good ones. So that is it. If care is not taken here, it can affect other developmental changes, and that particular adolescent may fall into trouble as an adult or may not enjoy life. So here, those values and the moral, the ethics, the good things, the right things they should know to put their life in order is being taught here. So that is it. If the child is going to learn any bad or irresponsible behavior from the parents, it will take place during the moral changes around this stage, all occurring between 10 and 19 years. Okay. Emotional changes occur in every adolescent. At this stage, they begin to have mood swings. They can tell how they feel. So this has to do with their feelings. So some feeling being loud, some also feeling that there's hatred in the house or in the home, some also feeling that they are being rejected. Some become very sad, and at a point when you talk to them or you shout at them, their mood will just swing or change. Some can tell you that they are feeling bored. Some can actually show it from their facial expression. So here, they need a lot of attention, and parents have to study them and know their likes and dislikes, their choices, so that they can always be, because if the children are affected in terms of their emotion, then they will grow up to show the same attitude to other people, or they can become very unstable when they grow. So it tells a lot about the adolescent, the emotional changes that they go through. They begin to feel so many things because there are changes that are taking place in their bodies, and they want to have affection with their colleagues, okay, or their peers. Right? So that will generate a kind of socialization mood, or here it can affect the way they relate with people. The moment their feelings are being affected in a way, either positively or negatively, they will begin to show it to their friends, and it will. So you see, some parents actually scold at their children at home. They are not being tolerated. They are not being allowed to ask questions. They are not being allowed to sit among their parents so that they can advise them. So such people who always feel lonely, and they feel very sad or dejected or rejected, or they feel that they have been sidelined in the family, when they come out or they are in school, they are among their peers, it affects their social changes, how they relate. You find them in school and they pick their books and then they isolate themselves, sit in the corner, and they read alone. They don't want to relate with anyone. Some too have had that affection at home, have been shown that affection at home. They will always want to extend it to others. So the social changes begin, and they want to make more friends. They want to be alone. Some want to have their freedom, even from the parents themselves, because of what they've gone through. They don't want to be under their parents at all. So when they are hitting age 16 and 17 and 18, they start thinking of, what can I do to get my own place, apartment, shelter, and move away from the control of my parents? So this has to be taken care of. Parents should watch this, and we adolescents, we should be careful with the choice of friends we make, because here we want to be popular among our friends. We want the fame. When they do something and they are being applauded or rewarded, they want to be the ones that receive that applause and the fans. So that is one of the things that we need to watch, and then try to direct them and control them. When they are becoming overexcited, they have to be controlled, because that excitement could either lead to something positive or negative. So these changes, they are interconnected in a way that we have to watch them carefully and address the issues affecting our adolescents at home. Okay. Now we move into the mental or psychological changes. So you see, their brains begin to attract things and their brains are maturing. There is a lot of changes that are going on and they are thinking about a whole lot. They can store a whole lot of information. As a child, they begin to learn, study with pictures and images. As they are growing, they will now be transforming those images that they've seen into actions because they are knowing the abstract side of it, because the concrete side have been learned when they were under age 10. So now that they moved into the transition period, the adolescent period, they have to put them into words. So you see that they begin to say things that we even marvel at them. They say, this child, so you can make this comment, this, you say big things. They say that they can be among the adults and be chatting with them. No, their brains are growing. Now in school too, the way of answering questions will change. So how they learn, how they study, because they know that, okay, when I leave here and I get to the house, I have to greet. They have learned something, so they apply it. Then how they answer questions in class, how they address their friend, the brain is maturing. Then here, intellect can also fall under the mental or psychological changes. That is why here the health too must be attended to. So what must parents do here when you realize that their children are in this stage and they will experience the mental and psychological changes? So all parents need to know that anything that will affect the brain will affect the way they think. So if there are things they do that make them go through loss of memory, so parents will be concerned about what their children eat, the food they eat. So vitamins, say a balanced diet that can make the brain function properly. So if it is too much of sugar, that can slow down their thinking ability, they control that. So if it is what the thoughts they put in them, the kind of things they say before them, they know the brain is going to attract them. So they watch what they say before them. All these things are certain things that we should look at. What they watch on TV, the media. The media can manipulate or control the minds of these children we have today. So they watch all those things. These are the psychological changes. Because the moment something controls their brain, they take it into adulthood and then they begin to show those things. And it could either be positive or negative. That is why this age has to be watched. And this particular change or changes need to be watched carefully. Alright. So these are the four we've talked about so far. With the physical, they are visible. We can see them. Most of the time, these ones can be seen. They are only exhibited. They show their attitude before you know that yes. So you can tell lies. You can do this, do that, and then say a whole lot of things. When it comes to the physical changes that are visible, we look at both boys and the girls. But with the boys, they also have peculiar ones, and the girls also have special ones that they show or that show on their body, because there are a lot of biological changes that need to prepare them to become adults. So we need to watch that side. So without wasting my time, we'll go quickly into the physical changes, and see what can be done as far as reproductive health is concerned to take care of the physical changes. But before we look at this, we'll define the reproductive health first. Then you know why all of these have to be taken into consideration in order to address the health of the adolescent. Definition, we go by what WHO, the World Health Organization, gave in 1968. So in 1968, according to the WHO, so you can write that According to the WHO 1968, we define reproductive health reproductive health refers to a state of complete physical. These physical changes we are about to look at. Social, we've seen the social changes. We've seen the mental changes. So reproductive health refers to the state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being of the adolescent Reproductive health refers to the state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being of the adolescent and all matters relating to the reproductive system, its functions and processes. So all matters, so it's a two-sided thing. If the health of the physical, the social, and mental change or development is taken into consideration or are taken into consideration, what is going to happen is that they will start dealing with the reproductive system. And the reproductive system, people only think comprise the reproductive organ of the adolescent. No, the entire system, how are they going to function completely? That's why they say the state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being. If this child is going to be someone who will be tolerant, if this child is going to be someone who will make good friends and then impact positively on people when he becomes an adult person, if this child will be someone who is not going to become a drug addict, if this child will be someone who will become somebody responsible in future, if this child will be someone who will have a sound mind and will not be mentally incapacitated, that is going through mental or psychological trauma, maybe as a result of the abuse of drugs. If we want to have this type of child grow up and become an adult one day, then it means that we have to address and make sure that we achieve the complete state of these changes or developmental changes. That is why the WHO is giving this definition. So we have to look at the health of the physical, the social, and the mental well-being of the adolescent, and then how the reproductive system functions. Yes, they have it, the organs are there. How do the organs function? What they should use them for, and when they should use them? When, as our morals teach us, and as our laws are written. Otherwise, they are going to abuse if we don't follow the processes. If we don't follow the processes, they are going to abuse the function of the reproductive system and especially their organ. We shouldn't have prostitutes, we shouldn't have them to become promiscuous, we shouldn't have them to be abusing drugs, we shouldn't have them raping or engaging in rape. No. So if we are able to address all these issues as far as the developmental changes are concerned, then we can have these responsible adults in future. So you see why this stage is very complex. We shouldn't pay attention to the health of only the physical changes that occur, or the health of only the mental changes or moral changes that occur. That we always tell them to do, this is how it should be done, this is how it should. We should also let them know that this is why we shouldn't do that, and they should understand, because at this stage they learn very fast and they grow very fast. Okay, so we're looking at the growth and then what appears or shows on their body. Okay. So one thing we should understand is that these changes, the physical changes, are influenced by hormones in their bodies and then special glands in their bodies, causing certain appearances, things that they've not experienced on their body or seen on their body when they were under 10 have now started appearing. So we look at the boys. So what do we see? We see them producing sound and their voice breaks. So the voice deepens. The voice deepens. There's a deepening in the voice where they begin to speak with a lot of bass and the vibration is there. And there's something there called the voice box. So in primary school, you can just write this and get your mark. So you, the student out there watching the video, if you write this, you are likely to get 1 mark or 1.5. So the voice deepens, yes, but you need to explain briefly how that occurs. So you say that there's a voice box that breaks, because at that stage, that's where the voice box will break, and then you begin to speak in that tone or manner. So that is what it is. So it's as a result of what? The breaking of the voice box. The breaking of the voice box. Okay. Two, we look at another thing. So the increase in height and weight, they begin to grow taller. So for the boys, from age 10, 11, 12, especially 12 to 16, you find them increasing in height, and then they become very heavy. Yeah, so they weigh a lot. So you need to check their weight and see that there's increase. So that is what happens over there. So 12, 16, you have them growing in that manner. Then we can also talk about the chest broadens, the broadening of the chest. So you see them, and then as the chest broadens, this part of the waist becomes slender, slim, and then you have their muscles. What is causing that is that there are a lot of muscles that expand. So there's expansion of muscles here. So as a result of the expansion of muscles, so these muscles expand and they stretch to cause their upper part under their neck of their body to also broaden or expand, or you can say enlarge. Okay. Then we can also talk about the growth of facial, armpit, and pubic hair. So the pubic hair, the growth of all these. So the boys will have this. They will have the armpit and the bit. So the hair around their genital, their private parts. So this part. So when they are going to take their bath, they will be watching the lower part of their body and be seeing the hair grow there. Some feel so excited about it. As they are growing, they see people with beards and then they like them. People are using them for fashion now. So they want to also grow a lot of beards, and they start seeing that on their faces. So you see them with a lot of hair there, and then the armpits. So here, the care that has to be taken, the parents need to talk to them. So attending to their physical, the problems that relate to their physical changes, they need to be taught how to shave them regularly so that they don't start developing a lot of body odor and the rest. Okay, so we've seen that one too. Okay, we can also talk about development of the acne. So we say pimples. The boys start experiencing that, the pimples, the acne on their faces, they start developing them. But most of the times, some also do not experience this. But we normally see that this is the stage where it is very evident or common. We start seeing the development of that. So it has to be mentioned as well. Okay. So they gain a lot of strength too also here. And then we can also talk about, you can add more. So this is the last one I'll be writing here for the boys. So increase stroke, enlargement, or maturity of the sex organs. So the maturity, the enlargement, the maturity, the increase, the sex organ enlarges. So they are testicles just below the penis. So what is going to happen is that it has to enlarge, and then more glands there will start creating a lot of sperm daily for reproduction. So when they reach the legal adult age, they can use it to reproduce their kind, or we can just say give birth. Yes. So that has to be taken care of. There are so many things they can do. Masturbation and all these things, it can affect that part of them at a very tender age, and they need to watch that side too. And it has to be clean and be kept. So what they wear as their underwears, their what we call boxer shorts or supporters or panties or whatever, have to be clean and neat before those parts start developing infections. Because when you develop infection, it's going to affect the reproductive organ, and they will not be able to use it well, or they won't function for them when they grow and they will want to use them. So they need that. And so you see, as they begin to grow and the testicles are producing more and more, because they are not engaging in active sex. And meanwhile, yes, we know around that stage they will want to engage in active sex anyway, but the sperm has a way of renewing itself, and then when it is more than that, or what has been produced, it has to find a way of coming out. And normally it occurs in the night, which is being seen or said or described as wet dreams. So the ejaculation will occur, and then it has to. So it's a normal thing. We shouldn't actually demonize or try to say they are anything that something strange. So it happens because it has to come out when the penis is very active. The blood will flow through it, it will become hard, and then you will have that coming out. But they shouldn't engage in acts where they will have to be forcing the sperm to come out, and that is going to be another thing altogether. So, like I've said, we have to advise or talk to them to know how to use the sex organ, take care of it. Now we come to the opposite sex. So the opposite sex, so we have the girls. So the girls, I'll use the alphabet. So instead of seeing them speak that the way the boys speak with the bars and then you have to find the girls having sweet voices, and then they talk, then they speak, and then the voice sounds so good. Yeah, people enjoy it. So we look at they having, so instead of the chest, they will have the enlargement of the breast. So you find the girls going through that physical change. We see it, so the parents have to turn attention to that and know what to give to them to support their chest or their breast, so they keep it always neat and hygienic and a hygienic condition, and know how to also manage that. And they shouldn't see it as anything strange. It should be made known to them that as it enlarges, there are glands, special glands over there that cause it to enlarge. And apart from that too, is to produce a lot of milk. Yes, because they, when they reach their legal adulthood and they give birth or reproduce, they will have to feed the children, and that is why it has to enlarge, and the gland will continue to produce more milk around that stage. So it's maturing. That is why we need to educate them on that. So you have the enlargement of the breast due to the growth or development or maturity of the special glands that produce the milk that they need to breastfeed their children in future. Okay. So then another change that we start seeing in the girl is that apart from the enlargement of the breast, you have the widening of the hips, so you get to see as they grow, then they have this, and start seeing the shape. Yes. So this part of the body will begin to widen, and it has to open in a space. There's an expansion to occur, because when they reach their legal adulthood, where they carry babies, in the space and the bones over there, the pelvic girdle and the bones over there will be able to hold the child in their womb and keep them during the period of conception till they give birth. That's why at the stage when they are not careful and accidentally they get pregnant around the teenage stage or the adolescent stage, it can affect this part of their body, and it's either the baby dies or the child or the adolescent can lose her life. So that stage is this is the time that the bones have to widen and become mature and be strong enough to hold the baby that they will carry in future. And when that happens, there is this contour, gives them that contour shape. That contour shape, you see it as a result of the widening of the hips. Okay, so that is one of the changes for the girls too. So we have the development of the breast, the enlargement, and then you have the hips too as well. Okay, I find a lot of pictures in the textbooks. Then you also draw the reproductive organ. When we come to class, we look at that into detail. Alright, so the widening of the hips is there. Then they also experience the growth of, so they normally don't have this beard and stuff, but we see some people, because they have part of the hormones that create those facial hair and other things in men, more in them, they start showing or experience this facial hair, but it is not a common feature. It's not a common feature. So they would rather have the growth of the hair in the armpits and on the genital, on the reproductive organ, so the armpit and the pubic hair. Okay. After that, then they can also develop the acne or pimples can also be a key feature over there for the girl, physical one for that matter. Okay, they also increase in height and weight. Yes. They increase in height and weight. So you see them growing taller and they develop faster than the boys. So even when you get to a point, you see them maybe with the opposite sex, they belong to the same age group, but they are having nicer, smooth skin bodies, and that is it. It's the special hormones and the glands in them that make their skin tone or the skin, the smoothness become that way. So these are some of the, and then the maturity of their sex organ, and there's one key sign that shows that they have reached that maturity of the sex organ. So they start, and it's capable of reproducing. Because when the male organ matures, it is actually going to produce more sperm. But when the female organ matures, it's going to produce a monthly flow of blood, which indicates that it is capable of reproducing their own kind. Talking about the female, and in girls, that's the first time they experience that. The name given to it is so the name given to it is the menarche. So that's the menarche. So they experience that as the sex organ mature. So it will flow because the egg in So when it's there and no sperm gets there to fertilize it, it comes back periodically in the womb, gets burst, and then flow as blood. It's a natural thing. So parents have to tell them before they even experience the first one, or keep asking them questions, engage them, so they will not be alarmed or become apprehensive when you see this menarche occurring or flowing at the first time. So they will not be emotionally or psychologically affected. They should also know that it's part of the womanhood processes or stage. So these are some of the effects. So these are some of the physical changes that the adolescent boy and the girl will have to go through. So you have to sit down, look at them, and put the common ones together, the ones that they have in common, and then the ones that they develop separately as different sexes together, and then you can make a summary of that note. So we have succeeded in looking at the meaning of adolescence, the meaning of adolescence, the meaning of reproductive health, where these changes that we talk about have to be addressed, and then the parents need to take care of that and make sure that the adolescent keeps those things properly, handle them properly, so their health can be sound and become responsible adults. So here it's so important because the stage is crucial. Now, if they are not being coached, or they are not being nurtured or taught what to do between this stage, what is going to happen is that if they begin to have influences from outside, which become negative influences, they are going to engage in a lot of acts that we call irresponsible adolescent behaviors. So these irresponsible adolescent behaviors, they can learn them from so many platforms, or so many, can occur through so many sources. So you can talk about the media, the things they watch on the telly, yes, and they begin to abuse all these things. And then what people tell them, their friends, so negative peer influence can be a factor. Then we can also talk about even parents themselves or ourselves. What example are we trying to portray out there, or show, or exhibit? Because these children are going to watch us, and they are going to do what the things we do, are positive or negative. So we have an impact on them, the way we talk to them, what we do, what are the programs we watch on the telly with them. Yes. So when we are not careful, and any of these changes is not taken care of, can affect the adolescent. That's why we need to watch all those things, that even in their psychological or what will help them become intellectuals is not affected even by the use of drugs. So this time we've been able to look at adolescent reproductive health, and I would like to say thank you for watching once again. Another time we'll be meeting, we'll talk about another interesting topic. It could be another one or under this particular topic. But for now, keep being a good adolescent out there and take care of your reproductive health. Parents, let's help our children. Till we meet again, I say bye for now. Thanks for watching GCL tutorials. See you.